Good morning. Good morning. Ta-da! Up in Studio A. Studio A. Studio A. First time in a long time. I flew to Nashville last night, and here I am in Studio A. Studio A. All right. So I'm a little tired. I'm a little tired this morning, but I'm keeping it flowing. I knew I had to do the show. I had to do the show, and I'm doing the show with my familiar metal rack. What? And I got the old metal rack, the um, old marathon, and the new marathon. Oh, new marathon. Look at that! Oh, that's so cool, right? That's so cool. They first time they've been in the same place at the same time. That's really cool. Very cool. All right. So ah, so speaking of which, let me tell you something about the metal. Well, let me finish my introduction first. Shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me the space and opportunity to come together and fight for a man that's trying to find the right pieces of himself in order to put them together. I know that sounded very very funny, but I mean that I'm fighting to put the pieces of my life together. I'm fighting to put the pieces of my life together. And so I'm doing that through the show. I'm doing that through the show. It's funny that I meet people and then they're like, your show is every day? What? That's crazy. And I'm like, no, I need this. I need this every day to help fight and help put my parcels into the right place. All right, so that said, all right, now let's get into it. Let's get into it. So first of all, I have not run today. I have not run today. I am doing my show is the first thing I've done today, and I've come to the realization that I'm tired, I'm fatigued when I travel. Like there's a fatigue that settles on me when I travel, and it takes a while to kind of kick itself loose. So I've got to keep that in mind. So there's that. Also, also, I want to I want to press I want to point something out. Look at what I found. Look what I found. What? The dice. The dice. We got to roll the dice. We got to roll the dice. I was sitting here setting up, and I was like, oh, the dice. So we got to do this today. Definitely today. All right. And so, and what else did I want to tell you? Oh, I remember I was telling you about the metal. Okay. So the metal, I did not think about the fact that my other metal was here. So that was a nice surprise. But I thought that this was a good experiment because what I've been doing is wearing the metal when I'm going to be in public because I want to see who it attracts, who it invites to say something. And so that was my advice. That was my my experiment, if you will. That was my advice this yesterday's travel day. And so I put my medal on, and I added up. I added it up in my head. I guessed how many people. I guessed three people, and I got it right. I got it right. Three people exactly. So the first man was the my bus partner, like the guy who sat next to me at the bus. He sat down next to me and he said, "Marathon, wow!" And I was like, "Wow!" I didn't even see him look at me. I saw him sit down, and he said, "Oh, marathon." All right. And so we chatted for a while, and we chatted about different ways to get to the Newark airport. I found another way that I used to know, but I completely forgot. And then he telling me, reminded me. I was like, "That's right. That's right. There's a whole new way of getting to the Newark airport." So that was great. That was great. And also, there were a collection of travel agents. No, not travel agents. Flight attendants. Flight attendants. And so there were, I mean, a posse of them, like 10 of them, along with their pilots, two pilots, and they were all like, I had to move back to the back corner of the elevator. I was like, whoa, okay, 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 okay. It was just me and them. That's all it was, me and them. And then the girl next to me was going like this, and I'm telling you, I become completely oblivious to the fact that I'm wearing the medal until someone brings it up. And so I was like, what? And she was like, oh, I was trying to read your medal. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, I ran the marathon. She said, what? The marathon? I was like, yeah, the marathon. I said, oh, wow. And so she got some of her other compatriots involved. And so, one on either side of me got interested. I'm like, oh, that's really, oh, wow, 26 miles. Oh, whoa, whew, And so that was really fun. That was really fun. And they left. So that was my 3. So my 2.5, 3, because her talking about it led one of her other flight attendants to talk about it as well. So yeah, I got 3. Now also what happened is I found end of story. But I wanted to tell you this too. I found the place for wheelchairs, and the woman scanned my card and was like, "Oh, your flight is already boarding." And I was like, "What?" Because again, my the way I process time is a little bit different now, and so which is why I need to be early at everything. Which is why I left early. I left early for my flight, and so I was like, "What do you mean?" But there was a big delay. There was a big delay on the shuttle bus. The shuttle bus was way too late. Way too late. And I was like, oh, I don't know why it's taking so long, but that's what did it. So anyway, so I made a deal with them. I was like, let me get one wheelchair. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for it. And she was like, what? I'm off. I was like, you're not off. You're not off. We got one more. You got one more to go. Yeah, one more go. And she was like, okay, okay. And then she went through it and she hollered at all the folks like, his flight is leaving right now. Let's buy. His flight is leaving right now. And I was giggling. I was laughing so hard because she was so adamant about it. This young man, his flight is leaving right now. His flight is leaving right now. And she got me to the gate. And I wasn't the last one on. I was not the last one on. But she got me there, and that was true fun for me. So I asked her what her tip was, and I gave her double the tip, her highest tip. I gave her double because she really went out of her way to make sure that I got to my destination, and so that was really fun. And also, I just have to. For me, I just have to be at the airport or be wherever I'm going to be far in advance because that was a little bit tight, a little bit tight. But anyway, she got me there, and shout out to her. Okay, so that was fun. All right, so let's go with the dice. So for those of you that don't remember, when I started this show, I started with the dice, and I would roll the dice, and what we would do is whatever number I rolled, we would take that number out of our main place, out of our main checking account, savings account. We would take this money aside and put it someplace where we can set it. So the idea of this was to kind of create our own emergency fund. Like take this money and set aside to use it as investment money. Never mind, I said emergency money, but scratch that. This was to set to set its purpose for putting investment money together, putting investment money together. Now you haven't done it for a long time, so there should be no excuse. There should be no excuse. I'm gonna roll this dice. You're gonna take that money aside. Max can be $6. Just move it out of your checking, out of your savings, and put it someplace where it's earmarked for investment. So if you got Robinhood, if you got Cash App, if you got any of those places, move your money over. Move your money over and then invest. And invest. All right, so here you go. Let's go. Five. The number is five. So that you heard me. Just take the money, take $5 out of your regular places and put it someplace else. Put it someplace else because you've got to get into the habit of paying yourself. But before you get into the habit, here's $5. Just once, $5. Well, maybe tomorrow because I may be doing this again tomorrow. But anyway, $5. Set it aside and let that money grow. And you've got to invest it. You've got to invest. You can't just set aside like it's a savings account because a savings account it's not making you any money. You got to set aside and invest it. Investment. Right? Investment. All right. Okay. So let me do the affirmation real quick. Do the affirmation. I'm so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. Ashe. So let's talk about money. So Fee King is again producing my show. She gave me things that I should talk about. And I was like, really? Let's talk about that? Oh, okay. I guess I'll talk about that. So this show is curated by Fee King. And what happened was simple to me. I didn't even think to mention it to you. But apparently this is important. So let me go. Let me explain. We went to see Willy Wonka. And I told you how it really got to me because I saw some really good stories being painted out loud in color. Yeah, it was some very important stories being painted out loud. So anyway, after Wonka, we went to the store to pick something up to cook. And we're in the store, we're in the line to get out. And the person next to me starts getting very agitated, like, and I'm like, what's going on? And so I pay attention to her or him or her. I can't remember. I just remember that person was like, and I look past. I was like, what is happening? It turns out one person ahead of us is having trouble. Like he's putting the cash forward, and the guy, the checkout guy's like, no, that's all I can see. That's fine. And the guy's handing him the cash, and he's like that's all I got was what I read. And so I said, what's going on? So I said that to the cashier. What's going on? And he's like, oh, he doesn't have enough money for his ticket. I said, okay, well, I'll take care of it. And then I saw the guy next to me. He was so upset that when I got involved, he got involved like to kind of commiserate with me. Like when I first asked what was wrong, he was like, yeah, like, yeah, right? Like, yeah, right? Like that was his energy. Like, yeah, right? He's doing too much. He's taking up too much time or something like that. And I was like just ignoring him and talking to the checkout person. I'll take care of him. And then the guy stopped. The guy in the middle stopped. I was like, what? like he froze for a second. his angry energy went away, and he froze for a second. And then he took his stuff and he moved to the next aisle over. And I got, he got out of the way, and I took care of him. I took care of the older man. He had some money, some $15, and his bill was 27, and so it was bigger than I expected. But I said, hey, I said I was going to take care of him. I'm going to take care of him. So I took care of him, and the guy, he was thanked me profusely, and he thanked me profusely a lot before he left. I was like, hey, don't worry about it. Just pay it forward. Just pay it forward. And then as I was doing all that, I did, swipe his groceries and swipe my groceries. I looked forward, and that person who had been annoyed in between us was at another checkout counter having problems. And I was like, wow, look how fast karma worked. Because he was trying to, I saw the same pantomime. He's like, no. The person like, no. And he wasn't, I don't know if he saw what happened before or not, but whatever it was, he could not get it through. He was trying to get his card or whatever. And the person was like, no, whatever it was. And I was like, wow, that's instant karma. Instant karma. And so my love goes out to the man who I helped, and I hope that he will pay it forward. And Ashe, I felt good because I was able to keep my money in circulation, keep my money in flow. And just by helping someone. And, and he didn't have much to buy either. He had very small amounts of things, but I helped him. So Ashe. So that's one thing Fee King told me to talk about. So Ashe. And what's another thing she asked me to talk about? I didn't get a chance to write it down, Fee. But meanwhile, Fee and I were watching trading videos. Like, it's funny to me because I think everybody watches trader shows. But no, like, I have tuned into my area of YouTube is a place where seldom people go. Like when I turn on YouTube, what I get are trading videos. And people, when they're exposed to it, they're like, what's this? At least that's the reaction that Fee had. She's like, what's this? I was like, oh, I can change it. She's like, sure, no. Let me hear what they're saying. And so I was playing these videos, and that's what I do. I watch the videos. See, because what I've discovered is that the stories are phenomenal. But you've got to pick one person. That one person has to be the way that you choose to work through the pain of getting through it at first. Because if you don't pick one person, you're going to jump from person to person, and that in itself will be a problem. Like anything, like if you're doing something with mufflers, and you fix the muffler, and you're like, oh, now this time the thing with the muffler didn't work, and so you try it a different way, and then you try it a different way, and you try it a different way. So it helps to have one way of doing something. But I watch the stories because the stories are all inspirational. So what I do is I stop once they start talking about, you got to do this and this and this, and I stop them, and then I just skip to the stories because the stories are phenomenal. You've never heard these stories before. And this is why I've asked some people to appear on my show so that you can hear these stories. You can hear these stories yourself because you will be shocked You'll be shocked. I mean, what? That guy, let me just say to you this one quick one. This guy went from a doorman to being a multimillionaire. A doorman. A doorman, right? and and the stories that helped him along the way are just super fantastic. Super fantastic. These stories just seem unrealistic until you really get into it and you find out these real people telling their real stories. Like this was my problem. This is where I turned the right corner. This is how I up got up on it. And I guess I didn't really get to that with Brian. Brian was on the show a week ago. I guess I didn't really get to that, but I talked about how his brother advised him on getting into funding into forex. But yeah, I promise for in the future I will ask them to tell you how they transported themselves, right? The difference between doing it right and doing it wrong. Because man, these stories are incredible. These stories are incredible. All right, so yeah, so I guess what I'm really saying is, Fee got interested in the stories, and the stories are phenomenal. And so you should check out the stories because the stories are phenomenal. Just listen to the stories. Just listen to the stories. Just listen to the stories because you will be um, dazed with the stories. Okay. All right. Let's see. What else was I supposed to talk about? I think that's it. I think that's it. Let me check my notes on my computer. The $1,000 emergency fund. Yeah, so I'll end with that. The $1,000 emergency fund. Fee and I have been talking about this because because we need access to that money, right? Because Acorns, as you know, we have Acorns. Acorns takes too long. Like if you have a real emergency, like a stroke, like that it takes too long. It takes too long, like a week to get your money. So we need to move that money into someplace that's readily accessible, but still is a little bit distant because you can't put it in with your regular stuff. You gotta move it out of the way. But we are looking. So if you have an idea, drop it in the chat and let us know because we're looking for something to keep it a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be accessible, but yeah, I've just been thinking about that. It needs to be accessible, but you know, a little bit distance. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So I think that's it. I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Well, let me check my comments and see what's going on in the comments. Let's see. Okay. Mel is saying, great story. That is a demonstration of being abundance versus wanting abundance, not just giving the money, but your vibration also. Yeah. I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about telling you guys on the show yesterday. I was like, this is what it is. It's what it is. And that's a benefit of the stroke. Sometimes things are just benefits of how they should be. Because old Sekou would have gone and find another line. Like, don't find another line. But this Sekou immediately was like, yeah, I got it. Whatever it is, I got it. I got it. Yes. Oh, Rev Mel. I have an emergency and a credit union account. All right. Mom's gonna have something to say about that because she's got a credit account, credit union. Okay, that might work. That might work. That might work. Yeah, because and the fact that you have an emergency fund is a great thing. Now that's great because I don't know if it was you that was telling me that you hadn't thought of having a emergency fund at all until you came upon me. I was like, what? 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 So yeah, it's really cool that you guys have an emergency fund, and the emergency fund is really just about the activity of saving. It's the activity of saving. It's not so much the amount. It's about saving $1,000. Yes, but saving $1,000 is about getting that money together. Getting that money together separate from your regular money. Because once you can do that, you can do anything. You can do anything. And you've got to get your money away from your checking account and your savings account because those are places where inflation gets them. Yeah, inflation gets them because inflation is inevitable. Inevitable. Oh yeah, thanks, Reverend Mel. I inspired her creating her emergency fund. I inspired that. What? What? That's so great. That's so great. And she has one now. He has one now, and I have one now. And so the point is, once you learn how to practice setting aside your money aside, then you can do it. You can do it despite everything else. Despite everything else, you can still save that money away. So I'm saying you still owe people money. You still got to pay your bills and all that stuff, but you can still shave away a little bit. Shave away a little bit so that you can live in opulence. Well, live in opulence. That sounds too sexy, but you can build up your emergency fund, and that emergency fund will come in handy. It'll come in handy. It'll come in handy. The first time it comes in handy, write me the first time it comes in handy. Go, ooh, that emergency came in handy. All right. All right. Oh, wait. I used to spend the $5. Oh yes, that reminds me. Thanks, Mel, for reminding me of that. So Rev Mel used to save her $5 bills. Brilliant. Anytime she get $5, she would save it, right? She would save it until the end of the year, and then she would go blow it. She would go blow it on something fabulous. And now what she does is she takes that $5 and puts that $5 into an investment fund. What? Into an investment fund. And that's so great. That's so great because what we're learning from Dave Ramsey, is how to stretch that money, how to move that money once we've achieved the muscle of setting aside our money, then that is the goal. That is the goal. Because once you can move money around, once you recognize it, no matter how little money you make, no matter how much you earn, you can move your money around, then you can apply that to other things. I hope I got you. I hope I got that right. I hope I got to you on that one because that's really important. All right. So I went over my time limit talking about that. But thank you, Reverend Mel, for being there. Thank you for Fee for being there. And I'll check out my comments later tonight, and I'll let you know what I got. All right. I'll see you later from Studio A. All right, later.